Testing. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Welcome to the Sunday services of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northfield. I'm Mary Dorr and have been connected to this beloved community and very appreciative of it for 16 years now. UUFN is an inclusive community and it nurtures spiritual and intellectual growth. It also fosters ethical and social responsibility. I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary and all those gathered online today as well. We are mindful that we gather today with different needs. Whatever brings you here, you are invited to come as you are and take what feeds you. If you are a visitor, either in person or online, we are glad you are with us, and we invite you to stay after the service to get acquainted. We welcome your questions, and we look forward to getting to know you. We have a few announcements today to share before we begin the service. In order to care for one another as COVID case numbers rose into the yellow category this week, masks are again required when not in the chancel or leading worship. If you don't have one of these extras in the back, there are extras in the back of the sanctuary. Our fall newcomers circle continues today for the second of 3 sessions. Today we'll reflect on our personal beliefs and wider UU beliefs. All are welcome, even if you weren't able to attend last week, and even if you've been attending for a while. According to the Constitution, we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How does the pursuit of happiness personally fit for you at your stage in life? Join us next Sunday for Living with Depth and Breadth, moving from role to soul, as worship leader Nita Wolf explores this topic. Again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northfield.
Good morning, everyone. I am the Reverend Sara Smalley, and I serve this congregation as its minister. Today, we are extra happy and grateful to welcome our new Director of Family Ministries, Diana, who is here in person today. You'll hear from her in a bit, and we'll be able to welcome her after the service. We're so glad you're here. So glad you're here. Later in the service today, you will be invited, if you are in person, to write on note cards, and if you're in the sanctuary, and if you're on Zoom, to type into chat. There'll be lots of instructions about this later in the service. But for now, if you're in the sanctuary, make sure you have a note card or two or a few and a pen. They're along the edge of each row. So pass them down. Make sure you have one, two, a few note cards, however many you think you might want, and a pen for later. And if you are on Zoom and you want to participate, have chat handy. Again, this is later in the service. As we prepare our hearts for worship, we gather with these opening words from the Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Courage is. We gather together here now, summoning our courage to be. We gather bringing our weariness and our energy. We gather bringing our wariness and our visions. Like trees in rocky places, our roots clutch. What we find is each other. What we find is each other holding tightly. Courage is not certitude. Courage is not assurance. Courage is the willingness to join in the attempt, to join in the unlikely, even the impossible. Courage is a choice. Courage is a way of knowing. Courage is a way of joining together. Courage is knowing that together we will do what none of us can do alone. Come, let us worship together. Each Sunday, we bring the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith to life together. As we light our chalice, we kindle the power of community and illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love. We join together in lighting our chalice with the words on the screen. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered, number 360.
morning. I'm going to invite any children who are here in the room with us today. If you would like to, you may come forward and join me for the Time for All Ages. You are also always welcome to stay in your seats if that's more comfortable for you. But we have something a little fun and interactive today, so please come forward if you'd like. And I'm going to remask to protect our youngest ones. All right, so you might recognize what these are. Do you know what they are? So I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask questions that anybody of any age can answer. What do you notice about the lights right now?
All different colors.
All different colors.
No set pattern to them.
No set pattern to them. They're on. They might be tangled. We're going to hope not, but we'll find out in a minute. What if they make you happy? What about their spacing? What do we notice about their spacing right now? Random. Kind of all bunched together. Chaotic. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask Sarah to come down and help me. Magic. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now what do we notice about the lights? They're on a net. They're in a pattern. Still different colors, right? Still all shining. They're like people. Somebody has anticipated our lesson. Oh, equal. So they're wrong. All right, so think about it this way. When the lights are like this, if each light is one of us, this is us on Sunday morning when we're together in the room and on Zoom. And this is like our community the rest of the week. Although we may gather during the week, we're spread out a little more. We're not all in the same place. But the part you may not see as well in the back, sometimes we get tangled up. That's very human too.
That's a sacred circle over there.
Yes, exactly.
There's a small group meeting happening over there. The part that's not as visible in the back is that it's all still connected, right? Yeah. We're all still connected to each other. So whether we are together in the same space, or together on Zoom, or all apart doing our own thing, we might be at school or preschool or jobs, or visiting somebody, we are still connected, we still love each other, and we still hold each other with care. So I invite you to carry that metaphor with you into your week this week.
Lovely.
Thanks, Diana. Keep that metaphor in mind throughout this service as well. We now move into a time of centering, using the chalice flame to light our candles of compassion. The first flame we light offers care to the wider world. It is our prayer for peace in Ukraine and peace in all lands. We believe, too, that the details of our daily lives are sacred and important, and each week when we gather, we share the sorrows and celebrations of this community. So now we light a candle for all the simple joys that are sustaining us, and we light another candle in honor of the sorrows and hardships we might be carrying. Not been spoken aloud. With these candles of compassion illuminating this moment, I invite you to take a few unhurried breaths, to relax your shoulders and soften your gaze or close your eyes as we arrive fully in this sacred moment and enter into a time of shared silence. A Web of Holy Relationships by Lynn Cox. Spirit of life, who draws us together in a web of holy relationships, make your presence known with us and in us and among us. Remind us that we are not alone in history. Ignite us with the courage of the living tradition. Remind us that we are not alone in entering the future. Anchor us with patience and perseverance. Remind us that we are not alone in our times of grief and pain. Comfort us with your spirit, manifest in human hands and voices. Remind us that we are not alone in joy and wonder. Inspire us to honor and extend the beauty we find in this world. Divine music of the universe, let our hearts beat in diverse and harmonious rhythms, cooperating with an everlasting dance of love. May we move with the rhythms of peace. May we move with the rhythms of compassion. May we move with the rhythms of justice. Source of stars and planets and water and land, open our hearts to all of our neighbors. Open our souls to a renewal of faith. Open our hands to join together in the work ahead. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Our reading today is Beloved is Where We Begin by Jan Richardson. If you would enter into the wilderness, do not begin without a blessing. Do not leave without hearing who you are, beloved, named by the one who has traveled this path with you, before you. Do not go without letting it echo in your ears. And if you find it is hard to let it into your heart, do not despair. This is what this journey is for. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from danger, from fear, from hunger or thirst, from the scorching of sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path there will be help. I can tell you that on this way there will be rest. I can tell you that you will know the strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other cause than to lean themselves toward our ear and with their curious insistence, whisper our name, beloved, beloved, beloved. We will now take our morning offering. This month is the last day of the Indigenous Peoples Month. And so our Share the Plate is to Native Ways Federation. Native Ways Federation is dedicated to uplifting, supporting, and advocating for the Native nonprofit sector. They strengthen the circle of giving through their work in promoting a more equitable philanthropy in support of Native-led solutions. You may contribute by putting cash or a check made out to UUFN with offering basket in the memo line in the basket. Or, excuse me, you may contribute by getting out your phone and going to our website, uunorthfield.org, clicking on the yellow donate button on the right column, and then selecting Share the Plate. We will now give and receive our morning offering Thank you for giving as you are able.
It is said that at this time of year, in many cultures and traditions, that the veil between life and death becomes thin, its edges frayed, allowing us passage into the mists of memory and mystery. The very trees themselves in Minnesota during the fall illustrate this truth. Their leaves are living and dying simultaneously, becoming radiant before letting go. We are no longer surrounded by the bounty of summer and not quite in the darkness of winter, but rather between worlds. In the Gaelic tradition, this time is called Samhain, a festival approximately halfway between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. Samhain is a liminal time where the boundary between this world and the other world thins, allowing spirits to come and commune with the living. All Saints and All Souls Day in the Catholic tradition are days of prayer and remembrance for those who have gone before, a time to intentionally call to mind the names and lives of those who have died and send them care beyond this world. For many people of Mexican heritage, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, also commemorates the dead, but in a much less solemn way. In this tradition, Dia de los Muertos is a colorful, joyful welcoming of the spirits with altars laden with food and photos meant to entice visits of the souls of the ancestors. The living likewise feast to tell stories and write lighthearted poetry, fully embracing life even as the dead are welcomed to the table, even with grief present. And of course, tomorrow is Halloween, which unlike Day of the Dead, is a solemn, intentionally spooky and dark holiday. It is a day filled with cobwebs and skeletons, allowing us to peer behind the veil and see a glimpse of death without getting overwhelmed by what we find there. Through this yearly ritual of playing with fear in the face of mortality, we can face the things that go bump in the night. At this time of year, we are between worlds, which is an invitation to make visible the invisible, to give voice to what has remained silent. This is the time of year we are invited to look loss and grief in the eye and not shy away. It's scary, but the veil is soft, and we can trust ourselves to go there. The veil is thin between life and death, between what is and what was. And maybe it's also thin between what is and what will be. What if we also peer behind the veil that shrouds the future? It's light too dazzlingly bright to look at directly for too long, but maybe we can catch a glimpse of that bright hope today. Because we are always between worlds. From birth to death, we are traveling between eternities. Right now, we are between the world of the before times when we had never heard of COVID and the what's next times of a changed world. How do we hold this complexity? Rosemary Watola Tromar writes in her poem, "For When People Ask." For when people ask, I want a word that means okay and not okay. More than that, a world that means devastated and stunned with joy. I want a word that says I feel it all at once. The heart is not like a songbird singing only one note at a time, more like a Tuvan throat singer, able to sing both a drone and simultaneously 2 or 3 harmonics high above it, a sound the Tuvans say that gives the impression of wind swirling among rocks. The heart understands swirl, how the churning of opposite feelings weaves through us like an insistent breeze, leads us wordlessly deeper into ourselves, blesses us with paradox so that we might walk more openly into this world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy. Have you heard Tuvan throat singers? They start with this low pitch in their whole body and then somehow also sing 1 or 2 pitches over that simultaneously. There are upper harmonics and frequencies contained within the lowest frequencies. The heart is not a songbird singing only 1 note at a time. Joy and sorrow are not opposites, but echo in harmony. We hold them both, and we don't have to hold them alone. Joy shared is joy amplified. Sorrow shared is sorrow eased. At this time of year, we are between worlds, which is an invitation to make visible the invisible, to give voice to what has remained silent. What is heavy that you are carrying? What soaring harmonies echo above that weight?
The joys and sorrows that you are holding today may be pandemic related. People who died from COVID or who have lingering health problems because of it. People who died of other causes during COVID, who you could not be with in their last days or could not mourn and celebrate in the same ways you would have pre-pandemic. Other losses like jobs, social activities, travel plans. But perhaps you also carry silver linings, like new family traditions, such as my own family's Zoom game nights with our mothers who live in different states. Perhaps your particular joys and sorrows today are not about the pandemic at all, but unrelated topics, including recent or long ago deaths of loved ones as we move through this time of year in which so many cultures honor our ancestors and other loved ones who have died. Whatever joy or sorrow or both you are carrying, today we invite you into a ritual of naming those things and then asking for and receiving blessings from this community of care where we help each other celebrate joys and bear sorrows. This is a ritual for all ages. So if you are sitting with a young child or someone else who does not write, please have them tell you what they would like you to write on their card for them. Other than that quiet conversation, we invite you to hold sacred silence while you're writing down what you are carrying today. We invite you to fill out those cards anonymously without putting your name on them, but to please know that these cards will be seen by somebody else here today. If you are online, we invite you to type your joys and sorrows into the chat and to respond to the sharing of others with their first name and the refrain, "I hold this with you," or other similar words that feel comfortable to you. David will play some music for us as you write. If you are in the room, when you are done writing, please either bring your note cards forward to place in the baskets that Sara and I will be holding, or you may raise your card for someone else to collect it and bring it forward for you.
We now bless these words you have shared, all that we carry individually, gathered together here and held by this community.
We bless the tender and courageous hearts that wrote these words, and we bless the tender and compassionate hearts that will carry them with you. Again, the words of Jan Richardson. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from danger, from fear, from hunger or thirst, from the scorching of sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path there will be help.
I can tell you that you will know the strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other cause than to lean themselves towards our ear and with their curious insistence whisper your name, beloved,
Beloved,
beloved.
beloved.
These cards are blessed. Our lives are blessed. And now we will send these blessings back to you. Earlier this month, I preached about adding our brave together, how we encourage each other, give each other courage with our presence and care. Today, we take that abstract idea and make it real. In a moment, Diana and I will pass these blessed cards back out to you. When the basket comes to you, I invite you to feel the sacred weight of all we carry, the joys and sorrows, and then reverently take a couple or 3 cards from the basket before passing it to the next person. Read the words on the card you received. Hold what is written there in your heart for the next days and weeks. In this way, we practice caring for each other. And know, too, that someone else has your card or cards, that there is someone out there caring for you and cheering you on. When you feel worried, know you are not alone, and someone out there is holding you in their heart. When you feel joy, know someone else's heart soars with yours. We will send these blessed baskets back out. Know that if there are cards left in the basket at the end, they will be distributed during social time after the service, so no card and no person will be left unheld.
We now invite you to hold the card or cards that you have received either to your heart, as I saw some of you already doing spontaneously, or in another way that feels reverent to you, a way that honors the person who was brave enough to ask for your blessing today. While holding your cards, I invite you to repeat these 2 lines after me. I carry this joy or sorrow with me.
I carry this joy or sorrow with me,
And hold its author in my heart.
and hold its author in my heart.
Amen. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 18, What Wondrous Love.
Keep singing. It's not the closing words, but it's what I want to say. For those joining the newcomers circle today, let's meet downstairs at 11:05. So we have some time for conversation here first before we gather. Diana will be here upstairs to chat and greet you and get to know you all as well. And now our closing benediction. May we move from this sacred time back into this world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy, our hearts open, our spirits lifted, knowing our great web of lights is connected across the miles. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Place your hands over your heart. Hold the hand of your neighbor or whatever is comfortable for you as we sing our final blessing, Spirit of Life. Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.
Nice to have you with us. I'm Nita Wolf. I forgot to put on my name tag. Oh, goodness. Well, what I can say is I was so relieved. With us struggling to bring families back, to have Sarah find you and have you agree to be